We are live.
We have the timer. Welcome to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Hit refresh, Grace.
Oh.
So we've got a special guest today, ladies and gents. So this is weird because I'm in Aaron's spot because Aaron's chucked a sickie. He's not sick. He's just like sick of you. Oh, that's nasty.
Oh.
No, he's genuinely sick. Last time I heard, he's still picking up his toenails out of the bail. So,
Right.
no, he's not Chucky. He's just he's got a cold or something. He's
Okay.
probably got COVID.
Anyway, he's got what he's got.
Yeah.
And we're here with Grace today, a special guest.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying like we have to be graceful. And I was like, hell no, that's not happening. This is me we're dealing with here. So yeah.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, have you got it up?
How long
Yes,
have we
it
got on
works.
this song?
Yes.
The song goes for another minute 50.
Okay.
So I told you it's a long song.
It is a
Hang on.
long
Oh,
song.
thank you for the reminder, Derek.
Mm.
You know how funny it'd be if I forgot to turn the song off?
Okay.
That'd be kind of funny. That just shows the level of professionalism. And also normally Aaron does it, not me. So Derek, bit of a big show today.
It's huge.
It's been a hectic week.
It's been a crazy week. I could roll over on the couch and have a nap right now. It's
It
been
is.
that good.
I hate to say I have done that.
in this couch.
Yeah, while waiting for a couple of videos to run, it was like, I'll just have a 5-minute sleep and wake up 3 hours later.
Oh boy.
You
needed it.
I saw a post about that. It's like parenting roulette, have a nap without setting an alarm. Maybe a 5-minute sleep, and maybe 3 hours sleep, and maybe a 48-hour sleep. You don't know.
In my case, it's a daytime nap is how long the kids let you actually go
Yep.
to sleep.
The kids are your
Or they
alarm.
pounce on you. Hey, Dad.
Dad, I'm hungry. Dad, you just had lunch. Dad, that was 4 hours ago. Oh,
Yeah.
whoops. Now, my girls are good. They don't do that.
Joshua McCurry is here. He says, "G'day, all. Good to have you again, Joshua."
Josh is legend. So if you click on his, I'm teaching Derek virtually on how to do this. So if you click on the comment,
There it is.
comes
It's up there.
So
There it is.
everyone good old socials land can see it. Now, Derek, we're 30 seconds away. So if you want to switch the
I'm going
mics.
to switch over. We'll catch you on the other side,
Let's have a look.
guys.
We've got 30 seconds, have we?
Yeah, we're already live on socials.
Hi.
So they're looking at you, Grace.
Hello.
So we're moving from the in-house mic to this mic.
So which one am I doing?
Steinsberg.
Steinsberg. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, we're going live on the mics. Edge Radio Australia. Aaron, how am I doing? You know what's really funny? I don't think. Yeah, we got sound. We got sound. Awesome. So we have Travis in Aaron's seat, having no idea what I'm doing. We've got Derek in my seat. How you going, Derek?
It feels weird to be this far away
I can
from the
hear you in
main desk. It's weird.
I can hear you in the headphones. I'm not used to that. You're a little bit quiet. So let's crank you up a bit. And we
Yeah.
have a special guest today. Can I get a cheeky 1 2 1 2?
Cheeky 1 2 1 2.
There we go.
Our special guest is Grace Black.
Grace, how you going?
Excellent. It's
All right.
wonderful to be here with you guys.
So I'm just gonna move
Oh,
this for you. All right, try
okay.
again. How you going?
I'm great. It's wonderful to be here with you guys.
Yes,
Yes.
we have sound. We have each other, which is always a good thing. To the people on social media, this is going to be an interesting show because I don't normally do this. B, Aaron's not here, so there's no one to temper my comments.
Well, Josh has just
Okay.
come on and said the lunatics are running the asylum. So there you go.
Perfect. So I'm actually really, really excited about this one. So Derek, I'm going to try and be professional, and I'm going to throw it to you because it's also your show, The Greater Wealth.
Well, When honor is due, honor is due. So this lady here, folks, is the one who is responsible for getting me into the finance industry way back in the day. We're going back 2007.
does this say I
Wow.
can call it Mummy Grace?
I am a mummy.
Da mummy, da mama.
You know what I've just realized? You both have 4 kids each.
Yes.
There you go. We do.
That's a scary
Yes.
number.
Yeah.
I was a good example for that.
So back
Grace.
in the day, I had a radio career, and it was kind of like I bumped into Warren, who he and I went back to our childhood,
Warren's
and then we
batshit
started all
crazy.
hanging out after after these church meetings that we were at, this sort of thing. And then I got to see your 4 boys, and I thought, how on earth they were just moving the whole time. I was like,
Yes.
how do you do it, Grace? And then one day, unbeknown to me, I just came out of my mouth. I thought, this radio gig's just not doing it for me at the moment. What do I do? And then I got this phone call from Grace the next day. Shum Warren spoke to her, and I was up on Central Park on the
it was Central Park,
16th, 18th floor,
Mm.
and with an amazing view, and it was kind of like welcome to the corporate world. It took a while to get there, but we got there in the end and never looked back. So thank you, Grace, for putting faith in me back in the day, and it's good to catch up with you after all this time.
Oh, it's been a ride, hasn't it, Derek? The first time I saw you, because at that time I was looking at was the opportunities, because there's always opportunities, and I was always headhunting. So the moment I saw you, I thought, you were a perfect fit.
Thank you. I want to dive into that in a little bit, but let's do some background if we could. I mean, how did you first get into business in the first place, in the corporate world and all that sort of thing?
Well, as you know, Warren, I've always been business minded. So actually, in my year 12, you know what you want to do in after school and all that. In my graduation, I actually said I want to own my own business, because one, to be honest, I don't like doing the stuff that I don't want to do. So if you can delegate to the others who's more talented, it's great. So so I read this book, A Woman of Substance, and it just inspired me, that book. And I want to grow the empire, and it just started from there. So how can I leverage? So obviously, as a business owner, when you hire someone more talented than you, it's amazing.
I need to say that you're the director of Global Wealth Club, an organization that pretty much educates people on financial education, kind of similar to what I do, but a different part of it, because there's so many different, most people don't realize that finance can be broken down into different silos. There are so many different aspects of it. There's legal, there's accounting, there's financial planning, there's investment world, there's, and it goes, and even in the investment world, there's property, there's the markets, there's all these different things. And trading, and what was the other one? Business.
Cryptos.
Business. Well, that's kind of trading, but and then there's the precious metals and all this sort of stuff. So you've got all these different silos, even with them, and you get specialists even within those fields.
Yes.
So it's quite complex to be able to pull all of that together.
Mm.
And one of the great things when working with you was I used to discover something new every week in the finance industry. Not a week would go by, even when you're in the game, you go, wow, I didn't know that before. I assume you still discover that.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure you guys have mentioned AI, the effects of it in the business industry right now. So part of the business, that's why I love business, because you never know. And the legislations in politics and whoever's in the government, that changes a lot too. So you always have to be on your roller skates, and to be able to be flexible like bamboo.
What's the biggest challenge that entrepreneurs face in your view, from what you've observed in the market? I know you speak to a lot of people out there who are in business. What do you think the biggest challenge they're facing?
One is mindset.
Okay.
And flexibility. You have to be able to be flexible, because what works yesterday might not necessarily work today. So you have to be able to, and also the other third thing is you have to have a team. It's a team sport. So because with the team, other people can have different ideas, or they can do research or whatever. And when you come together, you're not just using your mind, you're masterminding with others, with your team.
I love what Henry Ford did. He really changed how business was done. He hired people who were smarter than him in their fields, engineers, and he created the assembly line, because cars were very much workshopped at that time in mechanic stores, basically, and we did that. I mean, that's how we got aviation. If you go to the Wright brothers, they were cyclists. They had a cyclist bike store and that sort of thing. Henry Ford was able to produce en masse. Didn't know how the engine particularly worked necessarily, but he knew how the business worked and putting all those components together. I've noticed one of your strong talents, having worked with you for many years, is putting specialists in their strengths. That's what you do. And that takes a special skill to see that talent. How do you do it? What do you look for when you're considering a hire?
You're asking all her trade secrets, Derek.
Absolutely.
Well, Derek, because in Blue Sky Factory, you talk about vision.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, with Henry Ford, so we go back to Henry Ford. he had a massive vision. And I guess the way how I work is, you know what, this is how I see it. This is what I want. And it looks like this. So now obviously I'm not, and I love Henry Ford too, bring the best, the specialist in, because I'm not a specialist. But what I can see is, okay, when I saw you, for example, and you're a great presenter, I know for some reason the discernment in me, I just picked up that you're into finance.
It was the good looks. All the good looks.
Oh yeah, you weren't married then.
No, I wasn't actually. What are you saying? I've got the worst looking
Right.
since, or what?
No, because
He's
I
off the
thought-
market now. Leave him
No,
alone.
because that part of that is because he was warm and engaging. Because part of in the business, you have to be warm and engaging.
Mm.
You have to have that connection with the people, right? So again, the way I look at it is who they are. Are they connecting to whatever's happening around the world and whatever is happening with themselves? And also, my biggest thing, and I look in people, is do they actually know themselves? Do they know where they're going? At least have an idea where they're going,
Mm.
and also have they found their niche? So that's what I look for.
So this is interesting because I know both of you guys. Like I've worked with both of you for probably about 2 years. How long have I been with you now? About 18 months with Derek.
Oh, really?
I've
18
been
months?
nearly 2 years with yourself, Grace. Well, he was at one of the first webinars we did.
Yes.
Do you find that you want to find people who have already developed themselves and know, like, is it more important to have the right person for the role, or is it more
No.
important to find the
What's-
role for the person?
No, what's important is, like John F. Kennedy said, it's not the question is what can you do for the country, not what the government can do for you, right? So to me, it's like you don't have to you're not doing it. If I can see the seed in you, then you can nurture it, you can cultivate it, you can nourish it.
Yep.
And the thing is, it's that seed. So if I see that and I can discern it, then it's not hard to fertilize it, is it? It will just naturally grow.
So it's a case of finding the right person for the team, for the company, the fit that has the drive to fill that role, even if you have to train them, rather than trying to find someone already trained.
I mean, you can how many do you know, Travis, in the specialist field? They're doing it because it's work. They're not doing it from the heart.
I'm
from
just still Derek on this one. You've spoken about 80% of people actually hated their job.
Yeah.
So it comes back down to that.
comes down to that.
Yeah.
It's like they're just doing it for the grind, and they're not doing it out of love. So that's what I look at as well. I thought, oh, that person, even though they're not qualified, like Derek wasn't qualified, but he had the heart, he had the fire,
and the looks.
and obviously, but he's.
My wife's not the sponsorship of today's show. I'll just say that right.
Actually, does she even listen to the show?
She's
too
got 4
busy.
children.
She's 4 kids, mate. That she hardly gets the time to do it to herself, let alone listen to me.
Exactly.
Fine.
And she listens to Derek all day.
I know my kids listen. Like I know Celeste and Estelle will be listening in with Luan as well. So she chucks it on, so the kids can. Oh, that's Dad. That's what he's doing at work and sort of stuff. So
My wife and I met at a radio station, so she's used to hearing me on the airwaves. So
Actually, when I went to visit Derek one time, she was the receptionist there. And then
you were work romance.
am I allowed to disclose this?
yeah, sure.
Okay. Then I go, oh, she's so brilliant for Derek. So then I go, hey, Christy, what do you think of Derek?
So
Did you really?
Yes.
you're the matchmaker,
No,
Grace.
not me. I just thought, oh, you know,
Was that the nudge that started the relation? So Derek,
nudge, nudge.
this is it's sort of like started like an interview with Grace, and it's kind of turning into a gossip session about Derek's love life.
So Aaron has written in and he says, great insight, Grace. Business is about people, putting the right people in the position
Did you
to
like
allow
that?
them to flourish.
Yes.
Did you like that dodge? So Derek, so where did you take Christy for a first date? Was it to a bank?
To a bank. You heard about the one with the husband, it was when fuel prices were starting to go up, the wife said to the guy, I want to go to have dinner somewhere where it's expensive. So you know what he took her?
Petrol
Where?
station.
Petrol station.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh.
So if Aaron was here, he'd turn around and say, "Oh, he took her to a family law court."
Oh. Jeez.
Too early? I never know.
Ka-ching.
Joshua writes, warm and engaging. I guess I wasn't. Is it for me? He also writes, straight through to the keeper. All right. So when you're hiring staff, what's your process? Do you have a process that you do that? Because I mean, for me, I always handball them to my wife. She's a great discerner of people and where they're at.
Yeah.
And so when I have someone who's interested in working with us, I go, hun, what do you think about this individual? Because she's got this instinctiveness that she knows where somebody's at. And if they've got an agenda, if they've got something going on, she can pick it really well. I have a sense that you've kind of got a bit of that sixth sense as well from having worked with you.
I'm a woman.
Yeah,
Derek.
you've got that intuition. How does the process look for you though?
Okay, the process that I go through by is that again, I'm a team player. So our team, if they can see a potential in someone, then they come to us. And so we've got a business developer, as you know, and all admin staff. So administration and that side, someone else deals with that. And then I just look through the qualifications and, give it a go. But in terms for me, in looking at it like joint ventures, for example, so I like, wow, okay, this is where we're going. This is where this is where Derek's going. You know what? There's a beautiful marriage there. So let's have, I thought, because, and also the other thing is that drives me is that, do you love the people? Do you love the clients? Are you there for them?
Yeah.
Are you there to serve them?
Yeah.
And so that's my winner as well. So if I know that you are there, you genuinely want to serve the public and serve your clients, that's a winner. And then my next step is, okay, can we come together with this is where we're going, this is where you're going, and then let's come together.
Right.
Because then that synergy together would be magical.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating. As someone who's still kind of fresh to the whole financial market for myself, I found it really interesting you saying like the purpose behind what they're doing. Like, are they willing to help the people? Are they doing it genuinely because they want to help, or is it they just want to make money? It's funny because I've also done Derek's. I'm in the process of finished one course, doing another course with Derek. So that's at blueskyfactory.com.au, and blue is BLU. So same as the logo on the corner.
No E. We dropped the E.
Drop the E. No E's. No.
I think that was smart too, by the way.
So the thing I find really fascinating is all of Derek's webinars and the speeches and meetings and breakfasts that I've gone to of yours, I've seen, you're always talking about people's life purpose. So I find it really fascinating that, and it kind of explains why you used to have worked together, because you're both doing the things. Ultimately, you're doing it to try and improve people's standings. So you're not doing it for self-worth. So I think that's really important for anyone who is starting their own business, because the Greater Wealth has always been about educating people on what to do and how the financial markets affect them in their real life. If you're doing something just for money, I think you need a higher calling for the business to be successful.
Exactly, because when you think about it, I mean, you're in business to make a profit, right? And so if you're geared to make a profit just to make money, money is just...
People will see through you.
Exactly. But you're there to make a profit because you want to be able to make the world a better place.
Yep.
And find meaning for yourself and for others.
I can't see the comment sections, but I can guessing Josh is going something along the lines of, wow, Travis says something meaningful instead of a terrible joke.
He said, actually, it's the late 90s and you're dropping E's.
I'm glad someone picked that one up. Get it? Early 2000s, boy.
What do you see as the biggest challenge? Well, actually, let's have a break and then we'll get back into it. Travis, what do you think? Because we've gone 15 minutes, but
a little bit early for a break. Another couple of minutes.
You want to? Okay, we'll keep going then. All right. So, Grace, what do you see as the biggest challenge for business in general moving forward? You've talked about it from entrepreneurs that they've got to see that the market is changing. They've got to be flexible enough to go with it and to adapt and change. Gosh, we're seeing that with artificial intelligence coming on. It's kind of, we're looking at going, where is this going to go?
Yes.
A lot of people are missing how new technology is going to interact with old technology, because you remember quantum computers and all that are also coming out roughly the same time as AI. So how that's going to interact with each other is going to be very fascinating.
And it's also going to be interesting what will be the government intervention in all of this as well, and can it keep up at the pace that AI can move?
I've heard they're already trying to ban AI out schools.
Yeah, right.
Well, you think about it, it's like, how do you do this maths?
Oh,
like,
yes.
This is an essay question. Can you write me an essay for us? So you're not learning anymore.
It's going to turn homework upside down. It really will.
So it's like in-house questions and tests and all that is done be more important. Oh, Grace, that's a carton. So
I thought I put on silent.
So okay, so yeah, what do you see as the biggest challenge for business in general?
The biggest challenge, all I can see is what's working right now. I'm seeing the trend and the pattern in businesses is that you have to be able to go beyond more than the business. So for example, people are, this is what I'm observing, is that when you come into business, you got to be able to donate, build that legacy or donate to, it's more than the business. So for example, it's more than yourself. So knowing yourself, once you know yourself, then you must give back. So to me, within the business, the way I see it, again, it's the adage, the principle of what you take, you give back. And so giving is the principle, right? Universal principle of giving back. So to me, you got to really come into the open-heartedness. What can I say? More breaking down from that corporation hardness to softness. Does that make sense? To more engaging with the clients, because everything's automation right now.
Yeah.
Everything's, but you cannot get away from human interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's got to be warmth. There's got to be that human side.
It's so right. You highlight a huge point. And I think it's sometimes you have to stop in your own business and go,
Yeah.
if I was the customer, how would I feel right now
Yes.
with this situation?
Yeah.
and
Even if there's a
talking-
contract in place, even
Yes.
if this is going on, you've got to put yourself in their shoes and go, okay, would I respond this way? And how can I make this a great experience for them? How can I turn
Yes.
it around?
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly.
Talking of
It's
stopping,
gone
we
bad.
do now need to go to a break. So when I have a quick ad, a bit of a song, we will be keeping the in-studio mic on. So the people listening online, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, not Twitter, Twitch, can actually ask us questions. Something keeps beeping. I got to find out what
I
it is.
know it's
So when I go to a quick break, so if you do want to learn more about Blue Sky Factory, go to blueskyfactory.com.au. Global Wealth Club is globalwealthclub.com, and obviously edgeradioaustralia.com. And we will have an app very, very shortly now that we've dealt with the Apple and everything else. So we'll be back very, very shortly. Where's the play button? There we go. Okay, we've got a bit of Foo Fighters. Oh, that's not the music I actually.
He said,
played.
I did notice that, I'm going to put this back up. Joshua says, I did notice Trav's on his best behavior, surely the first sign of the apocalypse.
So we're not
I'm the
on
fifth.
mic anymore?
Well, yeah, we are. We're on that mic there. So you can push this mic away.
Oh.
Do you feel free? You're not locked into a cage anymore, Grace?
It's actually quite fun.
It is. I don't know why people stress.
How many people watching?
I've lost my water.
I've got one feed here. It says 3, but that doesn't show. I think that's just YouTube, is it? 3?
Let
A
me have a
couple of
look.
likes.
Oh, that's right, because you guys are everywhere.
No, there's 3 people actively watching at the moment.
Let me watch.
So Edge Radio
we'll make it
and Edge
4.
Radio Australia. Watching his pub burn down.
I'm watching my pub burn down. That's Aaron.
So when you click it, it just pops up. So
Yeah,
Easy.
done that one.
I'll just double check, make sure we've done the audio. Nice. The apprentice that is Derek has actually selected the mics properly, did all that properly, which is kind of cool. So well done, Derek.
Thanks, mate.
Did Christine jump on in the end?
I don't know. Did she?
I don't know.
I can't.
She's
tell.
your mate.
Unless you just listen to the radio.
System sounds were not turned off.
Who's Josh? Josh.
Josh McCurry was the candidate in Burt for UAP. Absolute top bloke. Knows his crypto pretty well.
Oh.
Not quite as good as Connor on the crypto side of things, but I got to be nice to Connor because it's Connor. He needs with how much he's going through. He
What
needs
about Brandon?
Yeah, he's really good.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what?
Brandon's more about training.
What kind of teaching people?
Teaching
about
people how to use it. So yeah, so if you want to know about crypto, Hour of Power at 1:00 tomorrow.
No, I don't
That's
want-
WA time.
I don't want.
Wow, your phone is so loud.
How many minutes have we
You
got?
want me to answer it?
No, it could be long. How many minutes have we got to go?
2
We've
minutes,
got-
but anything you say will be broadcast.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no, I think it's the long one.
What we'll do is I think we'll come back to Grace,
Mhm.
and then do you want to move into where's money going? We're tracking where it is and some of the articles that have come up as well.
well, we've got it's 25 now. So we've got
Yeah.
like
This is like you're just chatting on the
35.
couch.
That's literally that's why we're on couches.
Ah,
So for people listening, like business and stuff like that, we're always looking for other people's feedback and stuff like that. So make sure you reach out to Edge Radio. There's a at the top. There's a contact or contact us. I can't remember what it is. I should know because I'm the one that made it. So yeah, just reach out to us. Let us know what you want to talk about, and we'll get you in and have a chat. So the whole Edge Radio as a whole was created to give people who don't normally get a chance to talk about shit a chance to talk about shit.
mm.
So
Josh has got a wicked sense of humor. He says, "I thought the money was being sent to Ukraine."
what to the AI robot that's pretending to be?
No,
the-
I said, "Do you want to go into the segment? We talk about where all the money is going."
I think
go.
we kind of need to do that.
He's on the ball today.
We'll come back after the voice.
All right.
And not the Indigenous
With the
voice of
voice?
Parliament.
Aaron says we're doing a fine job.
Oh, thank you, boss.
Thanks, Aaron.
How's the toenails and the tonsils?
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. He
No,
claims to
we
be
can't
sick.
say it on air.
Ah,
No, we can't say it. It's privacy.
fair enough.
Privacy
Oh,
legislation.
he's got a privacy.
Oh, I
private
forgot
bits.
it's on live.
I hope it's not a
Uh.
private issue.
Oh dear, here we go.
He's out of control again. Don't get him
Back to
encouraging.
normal.
Here we go.
So,
All right, so what we'll do, why don't we do this, if you're happy with it, Grace, is we'll talk about where Australians' money is going.
Yeah,
And then if you want to comment on it or any time, your observations.
okay.
promote
Otherwise,
what
I'll
you're
just be a
doing.
listener.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
just one heads up.
I can
Derek.
ask questions.
You were jumping off your mic a little bit when you turned your head.
No, okay. Sorry.
So I can ask questions.
I must admit, I've been contemplating replacing these mics with lapel mics.
So-
You get the headphones like that.
No, you look like Madonna, and she's like looks
Michael
like
Jackson.
a AI modification of
The
like
Michael
a
Jackson microphone.
bear. No, she looks batshit ugly at the moment. Like, oh.
Madonna.
I never thought because Roseanne, you know the Roseanne show, the fat bird.
no. So,
I've got heaps,
Okay.
like 3:45. You know Roseanne, the sitcom that used to be on during the day. She's the same age as Madonna. So
Is she?
yeah, I never thought that Roseanne would be better looking than Madonna. But if you have a look at the two now, like Roseanne is actually quite
She's done so much in her face, isn't she, Madonna?
Madonna. I don't know if it's called a face or an ass anymore.
Oh.
Like it's absolutely rancid.
Oh,
Aaron writes, working with children and animals, Travis.
but
Yeah.
the main thing is she loves it. Madonna, obviously.
Normally when people say she loves it, they're talking about something else.
Oh gosh.
Like puppy dogs and cats and treats. Cake.
Where do you see these comments, Derek?
They
We
come
get it
up on
from all
this feed.
sources.
Oh, from everywhere. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So there you go.
Courage is the cure, says greetings.
Oh, hey.
Roseanne is
Robin?
awesome.
She was hilarious. I'm trying to remember who her husband's name was in the show. I can you know when you can see the guy, you just can't think of the name.
Yeah.
So,
I'm good at with faces, not names.
there's so many comments I could have said to that. By the way, I've been told by Josh I have to be on good behaviour.
What's that?
Because normally I'm the inappropriate person.
Yeah.
It's funny though, that I'm always the one that gets told off for it. But Derek, what was it, 2 weeks ago?
Hmm.
Aaron was about to start and you did something and just absolutely threw him off at the start. And he's like, oh, it's normally the shaved monkey.
I was doing the Go Mama jokes.
Yeah.
Just before he was about
Oh
to turn.
no.
The,
Is this from your kids?
no, I got it. Well, the kids started copying me once I started doing it around the house.
Yo,
Yeah.
mama.
They were making lines up.
All my girls have been reading the dog. Oh, Celeste made her own Dogman book. Like she drew the characters and everything, and it's amazing, hilarious. But apparently, there's not not-jokes in there. It's like not.
Oh no, not.
Yeah, not. Grace, not.
Who's there?
Something random like table.
Table.
So you're supposed to say table who.
Table who?
On table who did diarrhea on your head. And like they put that in the Dogman jokes, like everything's diarrhea, and it's like what? Like, they're weird and they're corny, and so my 4-year-old's running around going, no, diarrhea. So yeah, minute 18. Oh, I gotta tell it to stop.
Aaron says Dan. I don't know what that's in relation to.
What? Dan? Or Dan? D-A-M-N? Or
Dan.
Dan the Man. And that's a great Gilgamesh song. That shows my age, doesn't it?
Oh.
The album was.
Says here is the younger one.
Yeah, I'm showing my age. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but you're 30.
Yeah. There we go.
No, Gilgamesh, they're a punk band. I think they're from Seattle. They had Pantera had an album called Vulgar Display of Power, and just a picture of a dude getting punched. So Gilgamesh did one, and it was called Vulgar Display of Arse, and it's on the cover. It's just a fist punching a bum cheek. So, right.
I'm visual.
So yeah, absolute great album. All right, can you switch the mics over?
Yeah.
We're up in 20 seconds. See, Aaron, that's how you give warning.
What does he normally do?
He goes, 10 seconds.
Oh.
All right. Edge Radio Australia. I'm going to talk over John Farnham because the end of that song just goes way, way, way too long. So we're at the studios here. We have Derek Whittaker. Is that coming through? Yeah, it is. He's over in my seat, so he's keeping my seat warm today. We have Grace Black from Global Wealth Club on my left, so right. Anyway, it's mirrored, whatever. And I'm in Aaron's seat. You know what I should have done now that I think about it? Because Aaron's normally got like the crazy, crazy loud shirts.
He does actually.
So I should have worn a crazy loud shirt today. So about the only one that's I've got is like bright orange, but I don't know if Roscoe would like that. But anyway, suck it. Anyway, so we do have Grace here from Global Wealth Club with us. She's got some amazing stickers on the back of her phone, which my daughter's put all over her phone. So, Derek, you had more questions for Grace.
I do. I mean, we've been talking about business. We've been talking about particularly Grace's unique skill of basically being able to pick great staff to work with and for a vision, for a common goal. And we talked about the challenges of business that are moving forward. I'm getting the sense a lot of people, I think there was a bit of a wake-up call in the COVID years of 20. It's officially over, according to the World Health Organization. But in those COVID times, particularly in 2021, 2022, there was a big wake-up call of, hey, your income, especially when mandates were coming through, that you may not be able to make an income. I still think there's a sense of that in the community, whether it's spoken or unspoken. Are you picking that up from the general populace?
Oh, absolutely. Because I do talk to a lot of clients as well. And I also talk to clients that are looking into joining our membership. And definitely they're still there. The fear or the after effects, shall I say?
Yeah.
The after effects, the residues, it's strongly still there. And the other thing to add to that is fear.
I always, there's a sense, and you can see a lot of it on the internet about a side hustle and building a side hustle or that sort of stuff. Are you still seeing people wanting to do a side hustle, or are they kind of looking at career shifts now, or how to build wealth? What are they looking for? What's the heart of it?
Really, they're looking at how do they build for themselves and their family? How can they look after their family? Because now they've tasted that lockdown for all of us. I don't want my kids to go through that. So what can I do now? What can I establish myself? How can I build upon that so that my children won't go through that? My children's children won't go through that. So something to leave them.
And what percentage would you say people are actually making that change? Because it's one thing to think about it and it sounds glamorous, it sounds all wonderful, but until you actually do something, until you actually either invest in yourself and moving forward, establish a business or whatever it might be, how many actually do take action?
That's the thing. That is the biggest thing, Derek, because they see it. Again, I'm sure you talk about the mindset. Those who will take action, it's the minority. To be honest, it's still the minority that will take the action, because we can preach and we can teach and so much, but those action takers will be the one that make a change. But the rest, it's too difficult. It's too hard. They've got to make a change. You have to make a change in your life. You have to turn your life around to what you used to something new, and that takes a lot of get up and go, and a determination, really.
And courage.
So
Huge courage. Yeah.
it's really funny that you've said that. And I'm wondering, and it's time to get political here.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you think people are scared to actually take the plunge and actually start a business because they know, let's say I lose my job, whatever, I can fall back to Centrelink.
Yes.
There's such a low unemployment rate in Australia, in WA at the moment. Like, I'll get a job somewhere else. I'll always work for someone else. Someone else has taken the risk, but I'll reap the rewards. Do you find it's the job market's too soft, too easy
Yes.
for people just to not care?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, what our government gives them money to stay at home and be in comfort.
Mm.
So, really, as Australians, really, we're used to being given, right?
Do you think we're getting lazy?
Absolutely.
Mm.
You look at the young people; they're used to being told what to do, in a sense,
Mm.
and also you must do this, otherwise there's consequences, right? If you do this, this is, and if you go your own way, then you're on your own, mate. No one's going to help you. We're not backing you. So that's the kind of, that's kind of coming out anyway. And talking to potential clients or talking to prospects or in general, people who are looking to, again, want to make a change, and they hear about, you've got to do this and this and this. But at the long run, it's too hard because it is comfortable. And I can always fall back with the government. I can always get this.
It's been said that the richest place on earth is the graveyard, where the dreams of people who never lived their dreams die, and they take them with the grave. And you hear, and I don't know, in my line of work, in your line of work, you hear about some great, fantastic ideas sometimes, and you go, will this person actually take action on it? Will
Yes.
they actually do it? And here's the thing, and I come back to it with what I talk about, Travis, is if you don't do your life purpose, the world needs you. The world needs you to do your life purpose. It's
Yes.
poorer for it if you don't.
As someone who's actually gone through the process, like I've come up with an idea, and I'm actually working with Derek on this one at the moment. He's helped me. A opportunity came up, and to be honest with you, because I'm a creature of the education department, I had no idea on how to progress from, hey, that's my idea, to how do I actually implement this. And that's one of the biggest hurdles that I had with this project that we're working on at the moment. So I had to call in help because I had no idea what I was doing. So one of the things I'd love to see is that the education department and the schooling system to actually get off their ass and actually start teaching people not just about, this is how you count, this is your English, but also the what's what I'm looking for, the concept of money and how money actually operates within the financial industry, because it just doesn't exist in school, especially in the high school level. So that's something that I'd love to see the school change.
And also, they get given that there's always opportunities.
Mm.
There's always something around the corner.
So they don't teach you that at school. They always say, like, if you don't pass this, you're not going to university, then you won't be rich.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, all the stupid rich people never finish school. So
Joshua says that he raises a great point. He says, I have 3 kids and a mortgage, risking a lot to walk away from to do my own thing. And I think, what would you say to someone like in Joshua's situation where they've got all these responsibilities?
Yes, on the short term, it's great. But then on the long term, I think, Josh, what's your children growing up in? What sort of things you're feeding your children with? What sort of things that you're giving them in the future for them? Are you actually giving them opportunity and allowing them to open the mind to different opportunities, and to making sure that they have the courage to make that leap, to make that change? Because again, the children are sponges, aren't they? They learn from the parents firstly, and whatever you hand out to your children, they will be, won't they?
One of the biggest things that I've noticed is a few people take a while to transition into going to the business full time. They can't just stop because the bills keep coming, right?
Mm.
And that's a tricky process. It depends on the situation, but often they've had to do part-time jobs, or they go to move to contract positions, or they have a spouse that can, work and
not sell the house.
pay the bills and all that sort of thing. What have you observed in people trying to go, you know what, I've got this dream, I'm getting older, I've got these responsibilities? Because it usually people wake up between 30 to 50 years of age. Just where I'm noticing a lot of people just go, hang on a second.
40.
Yeah.
Well, it comes back to what you said earlier, Derek. It's the courage.
Yeah.
Do you have the courage to move in adventure? I mean, that's why I love Hero's Journey, for example. It's a classic one in business, the Hero's Journey. When you hear the call, are you going to take action? Because it is. Mm.
And Josh says at the moment they are learning responsibility, the children. I want to move something to this. I think it's really interesting to see where money's going at the moment, because there's uncertain times in many ways for many people with the economies. We've come out of the mandate sort of stuff, but I'd like your feedback on this, Grace. There's interesting stats that have come out. Australians are moving out of property with interest rates going up. That's a really interesting thing. So data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics has showed that households put $50.8 billion into term deposits in banks over the September quarter, the strongest growth since December 2008. Now, I hear that and I go, but you're still losing money because of inflation. You keep it in fiat, you keep it in cash. Yes, okay, you're getting, as you pointed out, Travis, before the show, you're getting some interest that you weren't getting before. However, you know, what the interest rate is 3 point something percent at the moment, right? 3.5. It just went up last.
25 basis points.
Yeah.
So
you know, but inflation's been at 7-8%, right? So you're still losing on that money. What are your thoughts there, Grace?
My thoughts on that is, again, I mean, that's what we're conditioned, are we? To save your money, to put in the bank and leave it, let the term deposit. But what I say, again, take courage. And because there's people out there who can have alternative. You've got to be able to move. You've got to be able to talk to others. You keep talking and never lose sight on what you actually want. Because otherwise, yeah, you can live in term deposit, which is safer. You get 2%, whatever percentage you get. But in terms, if you want more, again, you've got to expand. You've got to expand your field of contacts, and you've got to be able to network.
I think a big bit as well, and talking from someone who's not from a finance background, when I was growing up, the only options available for us was to buy property. And if that wasn't secure, you put in term deposits. Like, you didn't know anything else, or you'd buy some stocks or some shares or stuff like that. But then it's like you hear all these horror stories about, oh, this person lost everything because they bought the wrong stock. Or Tesla's just lost 40% of their stock value. And they're like, oh my God, I've just lost even more money. So again, going back to the education side of things, they haven't educated people. So we only know 2 or 3 different options. We don't know about joint ventures. Crypto staking is definitely not in the education system. Not only is there term deposit, but there's also like personal financing. There's so much that you can do to actually get a much higher rate of return, but other people don't understand. And I think that's one of the reasons why places like Global Wealth Club, Blue Sky Factory is such getting so many clients coming through, is purely because the school systems aren't teaching and people learning. They have to learn this stuff if they want to get ahead.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Sorry, go on.
No, because I was going to say that, again, it's who you know. That's why going around and talking to others, it's who you know at the end of the day.
A lot of money's gone into the stock market, according to these stats, and other equity, by $12 billion by Australians. But what they're finding is that the net worth has gone down, and it's more it's more to do with the housing property market. Australians love property. They love their piece of dirt, right? And the median Australian house is worth now $545,000. It was at a record high of 574,000, just over that to 575 in the first 3 months of this year. So you can see that market cooling down. Interest rates are certainly slowing that at the moment. People are throwing money to term deposits, take a punt on the stock market. And that's the problem I have, is that it's a gamble. If you don't know what you're doing, you will get burned on the markets.
Absolutely.
One thing that I got to say, you got to be careful of, is I love stats and figures and things like that. I love reading these sort of things. Yeah. If you look at the average rental value, average property value of the CBDs, they're actually going down a lot faster than rural areas. So a lot of regional suburbs like Geraldton is actually going up in value rather than going down. So that's one of the big things to be careful of, especially with housing markets. Everyone wants to buy CBD units and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, they're going down. Well, you always, if you know what to look for and you've got that education behind you, you're able to find suburbs that will be growing, like on the development lines heading out of CBDs. You can pick up some amazing bargains and those things if you're looking 5 to 10 years ahead. So
again, the key word, I agree with you, Travis, is education. Get yourself really educated. And obviously you've been listening to Derek. Guys, Derek is a brilliant teacher when it terms of building wealth. And you can't go without the education at all, because otherwise you might as well go to the casino and throw your money there.
Aaron, mate, thank you, Grace.
Black every time.
Aaron says a great point. Fear is so powerful. Education is more powerful. You know, we're never meant to live in fear. And that's the whole point. I think people forget that and they accept it and they think that's a norm. It's not. We were never designed to live in fear. What's really interesting too, in terms of the fear going on, is what are the central banks doing?
Exactly.
Right? At the
Yes.
moment, they are absolutely stockpiling gold, gobbling it up. In fact, the stats are showing out the gold reserves grew by 228.4 tons in this
Wow.
first quarter. The World Gold Council's reported, and the countries that are snapping it up in terms of the top buyers of the central banks are Singapore, which is just off our shoreline here,
Woohoo.
China, which is not a surprise, they've been doing that for a long time, Turkey, and India. Now, these are countries, India, China, associated with the BRICS nations.
Turkey.
Turkey's
Oh.
an interesting one too.
Yeah.
I love it with applesauce.
They're a bit dry, turkey. I prefer chicken.
So that is up so much. 228.4 tons of gold were added to the gold reserves on Friday. That was reported. And that marks a 40% decline from the fourth quarter, but it's a 176% increase from a year ago.
Wow.
So they're absolutely stockpiling on that. So it's really interesting with what we've been talking about over the last few weeks, Travis, about fiat currency, the uncertainties around that. And we're seeing a big demand in the retail market as well, with the mum and dad gold dealers on the street who are trying to deal with that as well.
I find it fascinating because
In silver as well, I might add.
the countries that you were naming there, Australia wasn't in there, was it?
No.
No.
Oh,
So
really?
Australia's not in there. New Zealand's been out of the gold market for 8 decades now, from my understanding.
From my understanding, they don't have any reserves.
Yeah, zero.
New Zealand has zero
Zero.
reserves.
A
A lot of sheep.
I find it fascinating that the countries that are really going to get hit hard by this, they aren't doing it. But it's the countries that are doing it are all BRICS nations, or countries that are trying to get into the BRICS nations. So I'm wondering what their governments have found out that they're not telling everyone else.
I mean, look, you've also got to look at per capita as well. I mean, Australia's a tiny population.
But we have all the gold in our ground.
Well, we sell it to other people.
Yeah.
We manufacture it and we sell it off.
Why don't we just manufacture it and keep it for ourselves?
Well,
Labour
there is
prices.
there is a good okay, let's put this perspective on it now. Up to now, gold has been a store of wealth. They have squelched the growth price of gold. Okay. They've actually, I don't think that we have a true market value of what gold should be valued at. All right. Because they unpegged it from the US dollar. All the other economies followed suit. Hey, America's done it. What a great deal. We can leverage this and keep printing money and buy whatever we want. Now that uncertainty with the petrodollar, and it all came back to what the Russians did when they were gone to war, and they said, right, we're going to peg our ruble to stop it from falling to the gold dollar. 5,000 rubles will now be 1 ounce of gold. That changed things. I think a lot of nations went, hang on a second, we can do that, and we'll start. And Russians saying, we'll sell it to you outside of US dollars. That was a big turning point in terms of hey, it's all been done and controlled by the US dollar, the petrodollar.
So I think there's a lot of governments trying to manipulate the markets. I don't think like you said, the gold's not a true value. To be honest with you, I don't think the crude oil is the true value either. Because you have a look at the OPEC countries, they've turned around and said, now we're reducing production by 40, I think it was 40%. So there's heaps of oil out there. They just got to pump it out. So, and when you've got OPEC saying, no, we're not doing it.
Well, the biggest problem here has been the Democrats who have refused to mine or refine the oil that they had. Sorry, not gold, oil, because they are pushing this whole, we're going to get fossil fuels out of our country.
Well, the same thing's happening in Perth, WA. So we've got massive oil fields off the coast of WA and the Great Australian Bight and up on the continental shelf. So what does WA do? They pull apart their refinery and send it to Geelong.
Crazy.
Like, it's just retarded what the government's doing. And it's not just our government either, all these different governments around the world to try and manipulate the markets. But as a citizen, if I did something like that, I'd go to jail.
Joshua says we need to put some distance between Australia and the US dollar. I think we need to come back in a moment and we'll have a look at a big day tomorrow as far as the Australian budget is concerned. Woohoo, let's get excited.
All right, so this is Edge Radio Australia. We've got Derek Whittaker from blueskyfactory.com.au with us with a special guest, Grace Black, globalwealthclub.com. Make sure you check them out. So we now have an awesome tribute to the Sickie one today. So this is a DJ Aaron mashup. Hope you enjoy.
Quick.
That flowed well.
You guys really flow.
This is Aaron's mix that he put together. I saw it in the playlist and I'm like, I have to put it on.
Wow.
Have you switched the mics over?
I sure have.
Nice.
So much.
Now, also for the people listening, make sure you do send us questions, comments, and all that sort of stuff, and hit that like, subscribe,
And share.
and share, because Telstra, YouTube, Facebook, they all love us. Sarcasm there, by the way. So, Derek, how you feeling being me?
Means I have more to think about.
Well, is
No,
it
it's
quite
fine.
di-
It reminds me of my old radio days where you're doing multiple things for you.
So is it quite different
Yes,
roles?
Totally. Normally, I'm there dealing with the comments and the social media and the broadcast.
Ah.
So you remember, I'm a broadcaster. I'm not meant to be the presenter. So Aaron's supposed to be the host.
Ah.
Derek's the guest, and I'm the broadcaster.
Oh, you should have seen what Derek used to be in his little DJ.
I
With
used
his
to do that
buttons.
You know,
Oh, did
I
you?
was a DJ. I was
Oh.
a presenter at 89.7.
Multi-talented man,
I
you are,
was
Travis.
proudly fired from 89.7.
Oh, that's right.
It was a lot of fun. I love it. I love stirring people up.
Proudly fired.
No, if you pull up my Facebook page, it
I've seen
still
it.
says proudly fired.
I've seen it.
So, but I think what they did was disgusting, personally. And so we got back out on. So when
It's good you were
Aaron-
fired,
yeah,
because
when
then you
Aaron-
wouldn't be doing what you're doing today.
Of course not. I'd probably be sued. No, Aaron, I'm not going to say what I got fired for. No.
Oh, wow. So multiple.
Yeah.
Mm.
I wonder if they've labelled this correctly, because it doesn't seem like a mashup mix from what I can hear.
How long is this song?
4 minutes 30.
You want to go for that one?
Yeah.
I think we'll finish on time today.
Well, you normally
once this
go
one
over?
finishes, we've got 2 minutes, so they'll leave us with
What?
7 minutes after
Have we
that.
done an hour already?
Yeah,
Holy.
because we'll finish up on the budget and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just play one song for this.
Do you think it's a big one, the budget tomorrow?
I feel sorry for whoever had to do it.
Why?
There's
We're
so
going to get
many.
thrown melons or eggs.
I think Australians are going to get screwed over. I think we're going to get a whole heap more tax hikes. I think things like Medicare and all that is going to stop covering a lot of things.
Oh, geez.
It was it $1 trillion worth of debt?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
because
we-
of the 750 a week?
No, because of COVID.
Yeah, because of the COVID, yeah.
Everything else. They literally gave a blank check and the government went to town.
Yeah, and people thought, yeah, I'll take that. Thank you very much.
Of course.
And then here we are.
So, and then you wonder why people like Kerry Stokes, Channel 7, was said if you don't try to minimise the tax, you're in bloody fool. Like
Kerry Packer.
Kerry Packer was it? Yeah. So you can understand, like, what do you say? Needs to get your head checked or something.
Yeah.
So, but I don't blame him. Like, the government has massively mismanaged so many funds, and yet people still say, "Oh yeah, you got to pay your taxes." Oh, bullshit, I do. I'll
Yeah.
do everything I can not to pay the taxes legally, of course.
Of course.
Isn't that right, Derek?
It's all about tax minimisation.
So who do you think they're targeting with the budget tomorrow?
Well, we're hearing
Who's
the
going
sales
to
pitch.
hit the pain?
I don't know.
Everyone but the wealthy.
It's the sales pitch at the moment.
I personally
Sounds
think
pitch
they've
from the
done
government.
property and superannuation.
Huh?
That's my guess.
So hit
There's
super.
just too much money in superannuation from not to put the grubby hands on.
Oh, yeah, because our population's growing older.
Well, you think about it, you put super in, they charge you, I think it's 22% on what you deposit. So if you put, I think $1,000 in, you pay like
Okay.
22%.
We'll have to rebroadcast this one. But Joshua said, I heard it said from someone who has sources in the libs that running up the debt was the entire point.
Probably.
They want to burn it all down.
Well, that runs with the agenda. What is it? Agenda 21 now. Agenda to 2030. Because if they've shown that when there's a massive. Oh, we gotta go back up after this one. All right, Derek, switch them.
Hang on.
Woohoo! Edge. Video back again. I got distracted and we were talking off air. So we do have. Are we back on air, Derek?
We're on here.
Woohoo! And I know Aaron hates it when we start talking after an ad, but we've kind of forgot to press the button to stop it because we are running out of time on this show. So Edge Radio Australia, we've got Derek Whittaker, Blue Sky Factory, and special guest Grace Black in the studio with us.
Grace has been helping us on this. I know you guys have been holding your breath about this. I know you look forward this to every. It's like Christmas coming in the finance world.
I hate to say, I love the budget.
The budget is coming. Is going to be announced tomorrow. $1 trillion worth of debt in this country. All right, that is our foreign debt. And they reckon that'll cost us $110 billion over 5 years to pay, which equates to the tidy sum of $60 million a day it's costing Australians to hold $1 trillion worth of debt.
It's kind of funny. We've only got 26 people, so every person is paying $3 for nothing.
Jeez.
Millions of households will get help with their electricity costs. This is what's being preempted.
Bullshit.
Jim Chalmers has confirmed this. They reckon there's an increase in job seeker unemployment payment could be on the cards. The government plans to pay for the new spending by collecting extra revenue from oil and gas companies. So they're going to target
less people are going
business.
to invest in Australia.
It's interesting. Let me read you some of the comments that are coming through. Josh has said, I've heard it said from someone who has sources in the libs that running up the debt was the entire point from the previous government. He says they meant to burn it all down. Aaron comes in and says, budget 2023, single parent payments up, pensions up. Let's buy some votes.
Of course it is.
Welcome to inflation. And then Joshua writes, it's quite clever how he words this. You've got to look at the thing. He says, build back better, but instead of using B's on the front of all those, it's 666.
Oh.
Build back better.
Yeah. You know, for
Interesting.
someone who loves a good old conspiracy theory, like I'm not touching that one. I'll let you Christians do that. Oh, wait, I'm a Christian too. No. The mark of the beast, anyone? No. So first of all, electricity prices going down is bullshit, because what will happen is the electrical company will turn around and go, oh, there's more subsidies, so let's jack up our prices. So there's more inflation. Over time, it's just going to be more expensive. What was the other ones he was saying? He's going to put things on oil and gas companies.
Yeah, collect extra revenue from the oil and gas companies, and then increase in job seeker unemployment payment, which is funny because that sounds great, but they're also on the other side saying, well, unemployment's at an all-time low. So, yeah.
Yep. So
is that encouraging people to become unemployed? I wonder.
I'm wondering, have they finally put a cap on NDIS spending?
Look,
No,
it's
they're
going to be
not going to
announced
talk
tomorrow.
about that, because they're going to go, oh, no, we got to buy votes. We got to look like we're doing something well. So my concerns on this one, Australia's already a hard enough place to invest in already. And I've spoken to people like Stephen Pettis about this one. He did a video. I can't remember if it was a video or one of those chats that you have online. He was saying that if you reduce the red tape on Australians reinvesting into Australia, a lot of the Australian millionaires and billionaires will stop sending their money offshore to invest. So if you want more money in Australia to help reduce this debt, stop the red tape on Australian investors. Like, it's so much better to invest. You get better rate of returns in other countries than what you do in Australia, because it's so harsh, because they're always chasing the international investment. Just do the same conditions for them as what you do for us, and you'll have a lot more Australians reinvesting into Australia. So it's a very, very simple, undiscriminatory thing. Just keep it the same. Like, it's not that hard. The other one, so oil and gas, it's already hard enough. If you don't make it harder, why would anyone invest in Australia?
It's interesting, isn't it, Grace? I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs who are successful and doing $1 million businesses and, a couple of million every year and all that sort of stuff. They get to a point where they're going, if I work harder, I'm just going to give more of this money away to the tax man. Not to mention all the red tape that I've got to deal with to do it. And sadly, we're poorer for it, because they eventually go, you know what? See you later. Too hard. I'm offshore. I'm going away.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on this? What can we do to encourage entrepreneurship in this country?
Well, at the end of the day, it goes back to the authorities of the land, isn't it? If they support entrepreneurs, the business owners, change the legislation so that it frees the commerce, because it's all about the fair trading, isn't it? So if they can open that, makes more sense. That really, in order for the country to really, flow with the money, you got to support the business people. Really do.
I think one of the biggest things and this is me getting on my political bandwagon now, the first thing we need to do is scrap all the free trade agreements that we have. If you actually have a look at what's going on in it, it actually states how much you can trade something for, how much volume you can do every year, and who you can trade it to. So I don't know about you, that's definitely not a free trade agreement. So the one with China, the one with India, I think there's another one with one of the South American countries is about to be signed off as well. So all of that needs to go.
Yeah.
We need to free up trade to do what trade does best, and that's to make deals and make money, so they've got money to actually hire people again. And also, like, all the regulations. And the other one I want to see gone is the Industrial Relations Manslaughter Act. that is making it so dangerous for middle managers to actually have jobs. It's really strangling trade, especially in the construction industry and the production. Like, we don't really have a production industry in Australia, but it's just making it really, really hard for companies to do anything, because there's always that risk that if some idiot comes and pours kerosene on themselves and sets them on fire, which one guy actually did, the manager got jailed for
Really?
it, and he got charged for attempted manslaughter or whatever it
Holy.
was. So there's a lot of really stupid laws out at the moment that need to be cleaned up.
Isn't it the principle of let the business people run the business?
No, not in Australia. The government wants to tell you how to run your business.
That's what I mean. Allow, if we, the government allow the business people to run the business. And then that's a big call, isn't it?
Well, this is where the
It's
problem.
a huge call.
This is where I see the big problem comes in, when greed and self-interest come into the spectrum, which is very easy to slip into. And that can be for business people, it can be for government, it can be for anyone to get that in their heart and soul. Greed and self-interest is what then, if I see some businesses that are licensed, like, my family is very involved in the childcare business and industry. That is heavily licensed because of the care for children. And of course, businesses' aim is to make a profit. You can't do that at the cost of the care of the kids, right? Obviously. So there are boundaries put in place by government, but the problem is I see those boundaries and regulations abused, because there is a fear in the industry that they could shut down our license at any time. We don't have a business at all, right? And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be. It should be a cooperation between regulatory bodies and also governments, not power hungry. We're going to rule over you. And I think this is the thing that's crept into the consciousness of Australians, where public servants are there to serve the public, but it's come to a point where they're trying to rule over the public.
Absolutely.
And that's a dangerous place to be in, because then you're getting the greed, the self-interest from that. Joshua writes, maybe we should.
Can I guess? The government should fear the people, not the people should fear the government.
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
No.
It's
No, he said maybe we should withdraw from the Lima Declaration is one point.
Yep,
He's also
great call.
said too many boundaries. Too many boundaries are a land of red and green tape, and then massive movie state.
Don't forget the purple tape now as well. The purple tape of inclusion.
To me, when you look at it, the government, it really, at the end of the day, if they just keep the roles as us being accountable, and like you said, working collaboration and working together, so the role is for us to account for what we're doing,
Well, we'll look at
and then leaving us to it.
Look at the cost to be accountable for a business, right?
Yeah.
So let's just put GST in the mix,
Yes.
right? To report on GST, you have to have a bookkeeper go through all your books,
Yes.
match and reconcile all the things. That's an expense for a business that they have to do. And
Absolutely.
they're basically doing the government's job of collecting sales tax for them, right?
Let's get AI. Chat GPT, they'll do all that sort of stuff.
Then you've got the other stuff, depending on the industry, of compliance,
Yes.
reporting, analysis, etc.
Mhm.
When you go into mining alone, you have to be spending the way the government actually knows where the minerals and deposits are in the country. So if you have a mining license, you have to have the geologists report that, and it goes into the government. They go, oh, we know we've got copper here. We know we've got oil here, or whatever it might
If
be
you
that
want to
they're
talk
looking for.
about stupid expenses in mining, I've got one for you. So
Tell us.
I used to be a drug and alcohol tester for a guy that sort of like likes to grow forests. So there's your hint. Anyway, so it was out Port Hedland, and as part of an induction, they literally said, "We don't care if you don't do any work. You are here as an insurance write-off."
Serious? Wow.
Literally, I was there to breathalyze every single person comes through, because if someone was on site drunk and they kill someone, the lawsuits and the damage to PR is not worth it. So they'd rather pay 4 security guards to sit on a gate and breathalyze people as they come in and out during the day, because it reduces their insurance by so much, because they're actually seen to be taking steps to stop alcohol on site.
Wow.
Wow.
That's how stupid it is. So, and yet we still get people rocking up rat and shit drunk on site. It's like, what are you doing, mate? So anyway.
Wow.
Grace, I'd like to get back to the whole point of people needing the courage to step into what they're doing and that sort of stuff. You're very much also into coaching as well, and coaching people to do that. So what would be your biggest thing that you would say? What's the biggest takeaway you can have from that? If somebody's there contemplating going, I've never run a business before, it sounds fantastic, but what would you say?
Again, the first principle is know yourself. Know yourself. And also, again, going back to meaning, purpose, your vision, where you want to go, what you want to do, and the things that you love to do. So then comes that naturally is, yeah, you know what? I'd like to make shoes or create shoes or bags, different things. And you know what? If you do out of love, what happens? You just glow and you just talk. You naturally talk to everyone. You advertise yourself for free. You market yourself. You start telling everybody what you do, don't you?
Mhm.
And then it just comes naturally in promoting all those things. So it's not hard work. It's easy. And again, I'm sure again part of the coaching, because you're a coach yourself, Derek. Part of that is coming out and born out of love. It's not work.
Mm.
It's only work is because you have to do it.
Mm.
You're forced to do it.
Mm.
Where when you're doing something that you love, you're not forced to do it. You can do it 24/7.
And the great thing about what you do is if it is work, you find someone better at doing it than you are and you get them to do it. You pay them to do it.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
But then again, I look at that, you know what? I can't do a lot of things, but I see a talent and they're more gifted than me.
Yeah.
Then why not give them the opportunity like Travis?
It's interesting.
just for transparency here, yes, I do the video editing for Global Wealth Club.
It's interesting. I mean,
That's
I
what
can
funds
do
the station.
bookkeeping, but I'm terrible at it. Right?
Yes.
It doesn't bring me
Not
joy.
that you're terrible at it. You hate doing the task.
I hate doing it. I do not enjoy it. It's something that takes me away from what I really should be doing into building my business as opposed to reporting on my business. And so one of the best hires I ever did was get a great bookkeeper. Happy to pay her. Bang, she looks after it. Makes my life a lot easier.
Well, like for example, today, because again, we've been working together for ages. My preference is to work behind the scene because I have the team that the team I have is that they're great presenters. They're fantastic.
I have to say, Ed's coming along nicely.
I know he is, isn't it, Edward?
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
So that for the people watching at home, that's Grace's son.
Yeah, he
He's
does
the one-
Tuesday nights.
He's the one that sounds like he's just woken up and he's angry that you've woken him up. So he's a twin.
Yes.
So the other twin sounds like just let me go back to bed. Like so monotone. Like, awesome.
Yes, exactly. So I thought, for me to do this, it's like it takes courage for me to do this. As you know, my preference again is behind the scene, not in front of the people. But I thought actually this is great. I'm actually comfortable and it's fantastic chatting to you.
It's
guys.
really, really funny because you're doing a better job than what Ed is. And he's like putting absolutely everything to the point he even got a mullet.
Don't you like his mullet?
Oh, I think it's terrible. At least you can't see it on the camera. So on that one, we are running out of time. So what I think we should do is just throw it over to last thoughts and see if there's any final questions on social media. So we do stick around for a little bit afterwards after the broadcast has ended on the social media. So people do have questions, make sure you reach out. So Grace, how have you
Yes.
enjoyed today? And for the people listening online, are there any last messages you want to send out to them?
Well, I really, really enjoyed myself today. Any last comments? Again, find your meaning, find your purpose, find the love, what you want to do.
Now, if someone does want to come to a GWC event,
Yes.
where would they find the details?
Yeah.
Globalwealthclub.com. Come on, you should know this.
Or hang on, Travis, you're in marketing now with us. You're promotional.
Is that
promoting to
formally
us too.
announced yet?
Yes.
Okay, so I've just been promoted to what's my official title?
I don't know,
I
Travis.
thought I was event coordinator.
You've done so many things.
Anyway, I'm the event coordinator for GWC now as well. So we are starting a breakfast series. So
Yes.
you get to meet some of Perth's top business people. I'm gonna say top because they're top people. I don't know if top. The first one's gonna be Derek anyway. So if you do want to have breakfast with Derek, it will be the 20th
20th of May.
of May. Venue, have we confirmed venue yet?
I've yet to because they haven't.
You've got no internet.
Gosh.
Grace lost the internet yesterday. and
I
hasn't
know. I
come
was
back.
not happy with them. I just had to hang them up before I get upset even
Anyway,
more.
so the details will be coming out. We'll put a link onto Edge Radio Australia, or you can find the link at globalwealthclub.com. And Derek, will you be putting a link on your Blue Sky Factory tour?
We can do that if you got a link to send it to me. I'm
Okay.
happy to do that too. Yeah.
I'll send it to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just send us an email to support@globalwealthclub.com.
Yep. Or you can call Grace on 04. No.
Call.
She was about to hit me then, which is awesome. So anyway, on that one, this has been the Greater Wealth with Derek Whittaker over there in my seat. We've got Grace Black from Global Wealth Club and Travis Carter filling in for Aaron Malloy, who's pretending to be sick. So anyway, this has been a wonderful, interesting and probably highly inappropriate show. So we'll talk to you guys and have a wonderful Monday. Where's the play button? There it is. Horses, gotta love it.
Oh, is that the song Horses?
Yep.
I love that song. Is that Daryl?
Daryl Braithwaite.
Oh, how do I listen to that?
So we're still live here, guys, on the socials. Hey, thanks for all the questions today, guys. Fantastic.
So the main question is,
Yes.
on a scale of 1 to 10, how shit was Travis?
Oh
Really?
no, it's all about Grace today.
So I've changed studios. I jumped over with Derek because I like being on this side better.
Yeah.
Well done, team. See, we got to click on this one
We
because
did.
see, the sickie is actually listening to the show.
Yeah.
Massive nanny state from Josh. Couldn't agree more. Look at Grace doing business already the moment the show finishes. Too many boundaries from land of red green tape. Maybe we should
You did
withdraw
well.
from Lima. I love that one.
Yeah, that's
Dole up, single parent payments up, pensions. Finally, the pensioners are getting some more money. So I must admit, I'm one of those people. I'm happy to pay extra tax if it's going to like pensioners and things like that. Paying drug addicts to stay on the dole doing sweet fuck all. I can't stand that shit. I think work for the dole should be brought back.
Oh, absolutely. We're breeding leeches.
To be honest with you, unless you're genuinely disabled, can't find a job for 7. Like I've heard of people who are long-term unemployed for 7, 8, 9 years.
What?
Yeah,
Oh.
and I'm like, no, that's called pulling the piss.
Well, is it because they can't walk or they're
No.
incapable?
Perfectly able-bodied
Really?
people, they just don't want to work.
I thought they have to submit forms and all that every fortnight.
Woolworths, Coles, whatever, rocked up drunk. There's so many easy ways to do those forms. You just reach out to businesses. So let's say you're unemployed and you've got no education, and then you go to, say, BHP and you apply to be the CEO.
Oh, that changing it.
Like, the system is so abusable, it's not funny.
Wow.
I don't know if I would go so far as a piss test, but you should. There's jobs out there where they just don't test you, like brickies labourers, roof. Like I'm an ex-roof tiler. I've seen people sitting on the back of a roof shooting up heroin as a job. So,
Serious?
like, yeah, if someone wants to fuck up their life with drugs and alcohol, good power to them. Go do it. Just don't beat my nana up. Sorry, we're not broadcasting normally, so I can I can let loose now. It's good.
No,
Oh, do
I
you
don't
wanna say
think
that
you should.
too?
You know why?
Well, what's
Because
the
it affects
difference?
Community.
Right, what's the difference between that and to broadcasting?
Business is on my Facebook now.
Oh, it's on your Facebook.
Yeah. So, when we're on the air, that actually goes through Edge Radio's radio station. So I tone it down a little bit. And Aaron's not here to tell me to clean it up, which is good. So I wonder if Christine made it to
I think she would have listened to the
Facebook
radio.
user. Woohoo!
What?
A rose between two thorns.
Who's that? Oh.
That was probably what's his name? Damo. Oh, new comments. Woohoo. Also on Edge Radio. Yeah, but that's Facebook. We're probably being censored anyway. So, does anyone have any questions before we wrap this up? It feels so much more comfortable being on this side of the room than that side.
Does it?
Is it? There's more work on that side.
No, it's just because everything's. Even though like my back's better, I'm still twisting's not my greatest thing. So where the mouse is and everything is like right behind.
Oh
So-
yeah, you have to twist fully.
So I think one of the things we're trying to get like a little shelf or something so we can bring all of this forward so we're not twisting. So, by the one of the problems is it blocks a lot of the camera work. So,
The whole desk full.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Cool.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Actually, pull this whole thing forward in line with the door,
Yeah.
and then you just shut the door. It forces you to shut the door if you want to be behind that. And also, what that does is we can put another camera here to broadcast if anyone wants to do the Trevor Marmalade. Do you remember the footy show with
Yes,
Trevor Marmalade? How
I
he
do.
had that bench and just making all those wisecrack comments?
Yes.
So apparently that was supposed to be me up there. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to bring down the broadcast. So, ladies and gentlemen who have been listening and enjoying and having fun and shits and giggles with us, thanks for tuning in. So
Thanks,
again,
guys.
tomorrow we do have, we're over here, Orange Brick Road. Actually, I think I just doxed him. It doesn't matter. Orange Brick Road. We're doing the Crypto Hour of Power. And remember, all the shows get replayed on Sunday all day. It's back-to-back talking shows, which is awesome.
Oh,
We're
really? On
expecting-
Sundays?
Yeah, we do replays on Sundays, which is
Oh.
awesome. So that's edgeradioaustralia.com. And if you do go to the edgeradioaustralia.com website, please make sure you subscribe to our subscribers area. So we have the $2 a month
Click down here.
Scrooge.
Click below.
Scrooge McDuck package. It's $2 a month and it helps us keep the lights on and you get nothing for it, which is great. We've got the $10 a month, which is a Hey Big Spender, which you get, again, nothing for it. No, we've got a thing. You don't get shirts and all this other stuff. We're just in the process of putting it all together.
Josh wants to know, do they stream on the Facebook the replays?
No, they're at edgeradioaustralia.com. So the videos will be up on Blue Sky Factory. Where do you put them?
I put them on YouTube and Rumble. And then if you prefer it just in an audio format, you can get us, it's called The Greater Wealth on Spotify and on
Send me the
our
link. I'll add it
podcasts.
to the descriptions for YouTube.
Yeah.
So yeah, they will be on the Edge Radio Australia YouTube page.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what do you think, Grace? Did you have fun? So we had lunch before we start. Like it's one of the things we try to do as much as possible. And I've got my the rest of my chips, which I just hanging to get into.
Aaron's all sorts of goodies.
Yeah. So what sort of goodies, Aaron?
Yeah, was Aaron happy?
Yeah, you get a picture of Aaron in a mankini.
Oh, come on, Travis.
No, literally that used to be in the description.
Oh, dear. Poor Aaron. How does he put up with it? How does he put up with it? How do you put up with it, Aaron? Seriously.
Aaron, were you happy with the show?
Yeah, he was. He said, well done, team.
He's saying, well done, team, because you managed to put up with me.
All right, cool. We'll finish it there.
Yeah, why not? All right, we're balling it down.
Thanks,
Oh, hang on.
guys.
You guys did a wonderful job. So let's end on that.